Bleacher Report has given 3 NFL free agency names that the Pittsburgh Steelers must get here before the NFL trade deadline. I'm going to give my take on who should start between Broderick Jones and Dan Moore Jr. at left tackle this week. And then also, who the heck is Darius Rush? I'm going to be answering all these things on today's edition of Steelers Talk. But before we get things going on today's show, make sure you click that subscribe button, because if you want a place to kick it with your fellow Yinzers on game days this year, if you're somebody that's maybe watching the game alone at your place, and you want a place to kind of come and be with your fellow Steelers fans and have a great time, this is going to be the perfect place for you. Here at Steelers Talk, we do weekly live watch parties for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Every single game we go live for, and including this weekend versus the Rams, we're going to be going live at around 3 p.m. Eastern Time, about an hour before kickoff, an hour of pregame, followed by live play-by-play, super chat giveaways, the whole shebang. So if you're a big-time Steelers fan and you want to join us here, not only for this week, but for the rest of the season, make sure you click that subscribe button right now. All right, so let's go over these Steelers free agency targets. We've been talking a lot about trade rumors here on the channel here over the last couple of weeks. We haven't talked about free agency as much since the start of the season, but Bleacher Report's Joe Tansey lists 3 free agents that he feels the Steelers must pursue here before the NFL trade deadline. If you guys watched our video yesterday, our trade rumors video on the channel that's currently up right now, I'll put the link in the comments and description in today's video. Joe Tansey does not know the Steelers situation whatsoever. This guy does not know ball. So let's take a look at the free agents that he thinks the Steelers should go and get right now. So let's start with the first guy that he thinks that the Steelers should absolutely go out and get right now, and that's wide receiver Sammy Watkins. And I'm like, when I saw this, when I first started reading this article today, man, I was like, here we go again, Joe. This guy does not know anything about the Pittsburgh Steelers and what they need right now. In my opinion, this is a really, really stupid idea. The reasoning that he used was that George Pickens is the only wide receiver that the Steelers have right now that's any good. It's like he's never even heard the name Deontay Johnson in his entire life. If you go out and get a guy like Sammy Watkins right now, he's not going to be a contributor whatsoever. He's going to be a backup. Right now, you've got George Pickens. You've got Deontay Johnson as that Z receiver. You've got Allen Robinson and Calvin Austin III likely to share time in the slot. There's just no room for another wide receiver right now, in my opinion, and I just don't think that this is worth spending money on a guy that just isn't going to have a role in this offense. I just don't think Joe really knows the situation here in Pittsburgh, and the fact that he keeps sticking his neck out here claiming that he does is just kind of silly to me. Now, coming up here, this isn't even the worst one that Joe came up with. The next time here, when we come back from this break here, I'm going to be giving you guys Joe's worst moment that he's had yet, and that includes from the trade ideas video that he had yesterday. All right, so before I get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor at Game Time, and Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. I'm somebody that likes to get tickets last minute, people. I mean, it is the truth, man. I'll be sitting at my desk at my office here at Chat Sports, and I'll just feel like, man, I really want to go to an MLB baseball game or an NBA basketball game, or maybe I want to go to a concert with my girlfriend, right? So what we'll do is we'll just use Game Time. I don't have to go on any other ticketing app, because Game Time has great last minute deals, flash deals right before game time. And then also they got the lowest price guarantee, which I absolutely love as well. I don't have to worry about paying a bigger price on Game Time because they got the lowest price guarantee. I don't got to shop around. Also, I love that anything that you can buy tickets for, Game Time has it on their app. It's not just sports, guys. It's music, comedy, theater, and more. Music festivals, all this different types of stuff. It's absolutely fantastic, which is why it's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you're set. Tickets are also sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. Really nice feature there as well. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code SteelersChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code SteelersChat. One word, all caps, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Oh, Joey boy. Oh, my goodness. This one is the worst one that I have seen so far. Free agent target number 2 is edge rusher Melvin Ingram. That is right. Melvin Ingram, the same guy that came here and said that he is never going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler again. He hated his experience here in Pittsburgh, and Joe Tansey apparently doesn't know that. So who's going to tell him? I'm glad to tell him. I'm glad to tell Joe that Melvin Ingram, there is literally a negative 500% chance that he ends up becoming a Pittsburgh Steeler this year. Oh, my goodness, Joe. It's just not looking good for you, my friend. But, hey, he actually turns it around here by the end of the article with his third must-get player here in Frank Clark, the edge rusher from the Denver Broncos. And we talked a little bit about this on yesterday's show, where instead of trading for an edge rusher like a Brian Burns, like Joe thought was a good idea in his article yesterday, I think he finally figured it out here that, going and getting a guy in free agency instead of trading for somebody is actually the more realistic option for the Steelers here. I'm not somebody that actually thinks they need to go out and get another edge rusher, but if they want more edge depth, right, if you feel like TJ Watt, because he tore some ligaments in his finger against the Ravens, that he should take a couple of weeks off for some reason, having a guy like Frank Clark just waiting in the wings to be there as a rotational guy, I think would be fine. Clark is a good option. He's a Super Bowl champion. Throughout his career, he's turned up his play in big games and in playoff games. That's something that the Steelers want in their locker room. So if they want some edge depth, yeah, go ahead and go Frank Clark. So at least Joe figured it out here by the end of his article. Now, let's go over my top free agent target. We've heard 3 from Joe. Now, I think that there's one guy out there right now that could absolutely help the Pittsburgh Steelers on their offensive line and some of their struggles, and that's to go get Ben Jones, a center, former starting center for the Tennessee Titans, to replace Mason Cole. Let's just be completely honest with the way Mason Cole has played to this point in the season. It has not been good. And Ben Jones, before, he's just not getting signed here. Last year, he was actually grading within the league average ranks, according to Pro Football Focus rankings there, and grading. And Mason Cole has not played well to this point. Just a 48.5 Pro Football Focus grade, which currently ranks 35th out of 39 eligible centers in the National Football League. And that's kind of more where it has been throughout his career. Last year, he kind of overperformed his career averages in terms of Pro Football Focus grading. This year, he's kind of regressed again back to the mean of his career. And it just doesn't seem like he is a true starter-capable center in this league. If you go out and get a guy like Ben Jones, who's been a starter in this league for a long time, and you can just plug him right in, I think that'd be a fantastic addition to the Steelers' offensive line, which we all know is in desperate need of some stability. I think Ben Jones could absolutely bring that forward. Now, name a free agent that you think that the Steelers could go out and sign and make their team better right now. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so go ahead, get into the comment section. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments. Name a free agent that you think the Steelers should sign here before the NFL trade deadline. Now, there's been a big debate raging on Steelers Twitter here over the last week. Who should start at left tackle? Because Dan Moore Jr., he's been practicing with the team this week. He seems like he's going to be good enough to go to start this week's game versus the Los Angeles Rams. And now the question is, do you go back to him as your starting left tackle, or do you stick with Broderick Jones, the rookie out of the University of Georgia, as your starting left tackle for the future? Now, the answer to this is very simple. It's Broderick Jones. You have to start Broderick this week. Plain and simply, I don't care if Dan Moore Jr. is 200% healthy, all right? And 200% isn't even a real figure, all right? I just don't want Dan Moore Jr. playing left tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers anymore. So you take a look at Broderick Jones' profile here. Of course, you traded up to draft him in the first round this year. You really believe in him. And you look at Dan Moore Jr.'s Pro Football Focus grade right now, it's not just the worst on the Steelers' offensive line this year, it's the worst in football among offensive tackles. And Broderick Jones, since in the 2 games that he's been able to play, 66.5 Pro Football Focus grade, which is the highest on the entire Steelers' offensive line. This is an easy decision if I'm Mike Tomlin. I am going with the guy that I traded up for, that I believe is the future left tackle in this league. It'd be one thing if Dan Moore Jr. was playing really well before Broderick Jones had the opportunity to play. If Dan Moore Jr. was grading in the 70s or in the 80s in Pro Football Focus grading, if he was actually looking good on film, that'd be one thing. But he's not. He's been awful to this point. So I don't even know why this is being considered. Broderick Jones should absolutely be the starting left tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers moving forward. Which really sucks because it sounds like Mike Tomlin and the Steelers are actually leaning towards starting Dan Moore Jr. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Which guy should start at left tackle for the black and gold this weekend? Should it be Dan Moore Jr., type DM, or do you think it's Broderick Jones? Give me a BJ down there in the comments section if you think Broderick Jones should start this week. So now the Steelers made a signing last night, and I went over it in a breaking news video at my apartment in Dallas, Texas. But now I want to flesh it out a little bit more here on Steelers Talk. Let's go over Darius Rush coming out of the University of South Carolina. He is a rookie this year. And, man, I was really impressed with him during the pre-draft process. He was the best corner at the Senior Bowl this year. Now, the corners weren't all that great at the Senior Bowl this year, so I guess that's not saying that much. But I thought Darius Rush looked really, really good in those one-on-one drills. He's a really big body, 6'2", 200 pounds. He's got long arms, and he matches that size and that length with speed, which is something I really love. A 4.36 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine this year. That's absolutely fantastic. And because he puts all those physical traits together, he is absolutely in the mold of a Pittsburgh Steelers type of corner. You know, right now, I think that Terrell Austin, Mike Tomlin, they're playing a lot more off coverage because that's what Patrick Peterson and Levi Wallace technically do best. But it's definitely clear to me that Joey Porter Jr., Corey Trice Jr., Darius Rush, these bigger press man type of corners is what they want to transition to when it comes to the future. And listen, you got Joey Porter Jr., who I think is probably definitely going to be a really good starter in this league. And then between Darius Rush and Corey Trice Jr., you're hoping that one of those guys you can hit on and can be a really good number 2 option next to JPJ for the next decade. I really like this move by GM Omar Khan, so let me know what you guys think down there in the comments. Grade this signing of Darius Rush for me. Give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F down there in the comments section. For me, I'm going to give it an A-. We still don't know everything that's going to be happening here. Darius Rush could very well be cut in 4 weeks for all we know. But I like the physical potential here with Darius Rush. I think the Steelers were considering taking him in the later rounds of the draft this year. And to get a guy that you probably would have drafted if you had the opportunity late in the draft, you know, I think that's a pretty darn good deal here for GM Omar Khan and head coach Mike Tomlin. All right, that's going to be it for today's show, guys. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to join the fastest growing Steelers community here on YouTube, we've added over 1,000 subscribers in just the past week. We are absolutely growing like crazy. If you want to join us, go ahead, click that subscribe button, and don't forget to join us for that Sunday watch party this weekend.